Have you ever stopped to think about what really makes a family? What if it wasn't about blood, but about the sacred connections we choose to weave together? Well, today, we're diving deep into that very idea, looking at it through the incredible worldview of the Arreqqana, where kinship is this beautiful tapestry of intentional bonds, not just, genetic ties. And really, this one question gets to the absolute heart of the Arreqqana philosophy. It's asking us to completely rethink the very foundation of family. So, just for a second, forget ancestry. Imagine this. What if what truly matters isn't who you came from, but who you are woven together with? It's a huge shift. So on one hand, you've got the model we're all familiar with, right? The bloodbound model. It's all about genetics, lineage, the whole shebang. But the Arreqqana offer a totally different path, the threadbound model. And this isn't just a small change, it's a profound shift in thinking. It sees family not as some biological fact you're stuck with, but as a sacred, intentional act of weaving your lives together. Okay, so this threadbound idea sounds amazing in theory, but how does it actually play out in real life? Well, let's start with one of the most basic relationships there is, the bond between siblings. First up, let's talk about half-siblings. In this worldview, they are never half of anything. They're called Kivasjarriin, which means split thread siblings. The whole idea is that they come from the very same single sacred spiritual root. So the focus is never on what's divided, but on the incredibly powerful origin they share. I mean, this quote just captures it perfectly. It's such a beautiful way to put it, right? The sacred loom, that's their shared spiritual beginning. And the different shuttle, that just represents the different parents. It means they're not incomplete pieces of a whole. They're actually two perfectly designed parts meant to complement each other. So what about step-siblings? Well, the Arreqqana call them Kasorraanlii, or weave siblings. You'll notice there's no step in there, no hint of distance. They are seen as true woven companions, soul partners for life's journey. It's a world away from the kind of conditional relationship that step-sibling can sometimes imply. And this right here really drives that point home. That wind roof, it's a symbol for the shared home, the shared life, all those experiences together. In this view, it's the act of growing up together, that shared dance of life, that forges the deepest, most unbreakable bonds. It's got nothing to do with sharing a biological parent.
Of course, these threads don't just weave themselves, so that brings us to the mothers. They're the weavers who create this amazing family tapestry. Let's dig into their unique and totally sacred role in all of this. The word for co-wives is Qolamira. And this concept just completely flips the script on what that relationship can be. Instead of being rivals competing for attention or resources, they are seen as spiritual allies. They're partners in the sacred job of motherhood. It's cooperative, it's divine. I love this quote. It sums up the philosophy so perfectly. The idea isn't that more mothers means the love gets diluted or divided. No way. It's that the love is multiplied. Each mother adds her own unique voice, her own strength, her own wisdom, and what you get is this incredible chorus of support for the children. And this is the absolutely crucial part, how they pass these values on. Kids aren't taught to think about who's more related to them. Instead, they're taught to ask this really profound question: whose voice carried me through the storm? It completely shifts the focus to who showed up, who gave support, who was there for you. That's what matters, not biology. All right, so we've looked at the individual threads and we've met the weavers. Now let's zoom out and look at the whole tapestry, how all these different pieces come together to create a family unit that's not just strong, but incredibly resilient. At the center of this idea is the concept of elemental energies. Kids from different mothers are seen as bringing different essences into the family, like fire, water, air, or earth. And these differences aren't just something to be put up with. They're seen as absolutely essential, complementary forces that make the family stronger. And this is what creates a Nararros-Khalan, or a multi-elemental household. In this kind of family, diversity isn't a problem you have to manage. It's the very source of the family's collective spiritual power. Every single child brings a necessary energy that strengthens everybody else. And this proverb just sums it all up perfectly, doesn't it? The different spindles, those are the different mothers, the different origins. But the final result, it's one single unified protective cloak. It's just a beautiful image of finding unity through diversity. Okay, so these beliefs are incredibly powerful, but how do you make them real? How do you live this stuff every single day? Let's look at the actual rituals that turn these abstract ideas into lived experiences and really solidify these bonds of chosen kinship.
Well, one way is it's baked right into their language. This common phrase, na Kasorraanlii, it basically means not the same mother, but still sacred kin. Just hearing and saying that over and over in everyday life reinforces that core belief until it becomes an unquestionable truth. But it goes way beyond just words. They have formal rituals too. The Kassora Blessing Bowl is this really special ceremony, and it's done specifically to spiritually unite siblings from different mothers when they start living together. It's how they formally establish their bond as weave siblings. The whole ritual has these 3 deeply symbolic steps. First, they actually mix sacred oils from each of their mothers, so they're physically blending their lineages. Second, they speak soul vows directly to each other, making a real personal commitment. And finally, they wear a shared sigil, which is this constant visible reminder of the sacred kinship they've chosen.
So when you boil it all down, the big takeaway here is just profound. In the Arreqqana view, family isn't something you're just born into and that's that. Kinship is a sacred act of weaving. It's a conscious choice. It's something you are actively creating together every single day. And that really leaves us with a final question to chew on. In our own lives, with our own beautifully complex families, what could we learn from a model like this? One that values connection over biology, support over genetics, and the intentional act of weaving our lives together over simple bloodlines. It's definitely something to think about.